Good morning, my dear students. Welcome back. Today we are going to revise the lesson of power sharing once again. As we completed this lesson in the last lecture, so just we will have once more revise for this chapter there. My dear students, we know that we start our day with a thought there. So today's beautiful thought is that if you stay positive in negative situation, you win. Yes, 100% true. What happens here, if you are positive, then no matters that whatever the situation that you are crossing, then definitely you will be winning there. So in every situation, it may be a sad or it may be a happy time, always keep your thought in a pessimist way. If you keep in your pessimist, then there is a definite, there is an achievement for your life there. Fine. With this thought, we are moving for the revision chapter of the power sharing. The year in this slide itself, it's there what is the idea of the power sharing there, means sharing from one hand to the another there. So now we are going to see the meaning of the power sharing there. As we know that what are the meaning of the power sharing, as we seen in the lecture, that in the brief explanation I have explained how this power sharing has been divided in many types there. If we take in the education system, we have seen that power, it is shared from the school leader, that the principal who is having the rights to hold the whole school there, and the to minimize the work or to run smoothly, the power has been shared to the various in charges, and that in charges share the power to the class teachers there. And how that become the hierarchy, that we have seen and made the school to run in a good position there. That was a power sharing that we have seen in the last example. Now in the same, if we take in the national level of the politics also, we share the power among the three organs of the states, that is the legislature, executive and the judiciary. Okay, it is very important for the proper functioning of the democracy here. The idea of the power sharing has emerged in opposition to the notations or undivided political power there. So some of the countries or some of the worldwide, if you see, there are the undivided power sharing. Due to that conflicts, it may raise to the issues there. So due to that, in a democratic, everyone, what has that, everyone has a voice in shaping of the public policies there. So hope I feel that you have got clear about the power sharing there, and you must also known that about the sharing of when we share the power, what it will be. And also you know very well that they didn't share the power, how the conflicts has been, issues has been come up there. So to moving to the next one, we are going to see how the power has been shared within the two countries here. Now let's take the two examples of power sharing, that the country of Belgium and the Sri Lanka we are going to see now. Now if you see the Belgium, first we will study the case study of the Belgium here. As we discussed in an elaborately and comprehensive way in the last class, just we are revising for the this chapter in a short way, the children. As we know that Belgium is a federal monarchy in the Western Europe. Yeah, it is a founding member of the European Union and the host of the EVS headquarters, as well as of those several other major international organizations such as NATO. Yeah, Belgium covers an area of 30,528 square kilometers there, and as it's a population of about the 11 million there. So it discussed already in the last lecture that the Belgium is the very small state like of Haryana in the India there. If we compare to our country in the state of the Haryana, it is similarly to that much it is. It has the boundary with the Netherlands, France, Germany and the Luxembourg, that already we have said that. Now here the ethnic compositions of the is very complex. Yeah, ethnic already we know that what is the ethnic there. Ethnic is nothing but it is based on the culture of the country, or it may be in the sense of the on the basis of the religion, or on the basis of the community, or it may be basis of the races, any type. So it leads to the ethnic group there. So now if we see the ethnic composition of the Belgium, the main ethnic composition is on the language basis here. That well, linguistic basis we can say here. My dear students, here if you see this Belgium map, the Belgium map has been contrasted with the two colors there. Okay, one region means in a Belgium, as we know, the division of the Belgium is the two parts. The Belgium has been divided into two parts. One is the northern and the southern there. So we can see that Belgium has divided into the two parts. In the first northern part, if we see, okay, this northern part, if we see that is the I will show you here. This is the northern part, and here what type of language are speaking here? Flemish region we can say, sorry. This is the here the Flemish region people live here. And if we see the southern part, and here which Wallonian region people are staying here. Fine. In Belgium, just is the northern part and the southern part that we have seen. In northern part, which language will be which region is going to stay there? That is the Flemish, and in southern there is the Wallonian region. Now here what happens? 59% Dutch speakers are there. Yeah, 59 Dutch speakers and 40% French speakers, and only 1% that is the German speakers. And if you see in the capital of the Belgium here, that is the Brussels. Okay, before going to the capital, I'll tell that ethnic composition is very complex. That's out of the total population of the country, here 59% people lives in the Flemish region. Okay, Flemish region, which is this one, northern part. Yes, this is the Flemish region. How many peoples are living there? 59% live in the Flemish region and speaks the only Dutch there. Getting here the northern part, it's the Flemish, and they are speaking as the Dutch speakers there. And if we Dutch speaking language there, okay, other 40% people live in the Wallonian region. This is the Wallonian region where we have seen that the language speaking of the people are here French here. The remaining 1% speaks the German there. This is the German speaking language. The capital of Belgium is the Brussels. This is the small, we can see like a orange part, that is the capital of the Belgium, that is the Brussels. Okay, I'm writing here short, children, please try to understand it. In this Brussels, what happened there, where 80% of the people speaks French there. See the contrast, children. 80% speaks the French, while 20 are only Dutch speaking peoples there. So due to this conflict, what happens there? There is again leads to the majority and minority here. So hope this ethnic composition you have got the clear there. Dutch speakers, how many are there in the country? 59% are there. And how many people there are in the French speakers in the country? 40% are there. This becomes only in the country region that we have seen. But if we have seen in the part of the capital of the Belgium, that is the Brussels, in that we have seen that 20% were only the Dutch speakers there. Means here Dutch speaking is the minority and French speaking is the majority there. So due to these conflicts, what's happened there? The minority French speaking community was relatively rich and powerful there. Fine. This what happened? This made the Dutch speaking community angry, who got the benefit of the economic development and education much later there. So due to this, what happened there? Tensions between the French and the Dutch speaking communities, obviously, because it started. So what happened there? In social disparity, if we see, led to the tensions between the Dutch and the French speaking communities during the 1950s and 1960s there. 1950s and 1960s we have seen there. So 1950s and 1960s, that the community during this we have seen this tension was more acute in Brussels with a special problem, as we know that because the majority and minority, hope you have got clear that it was the Dutch speaking people constituted a majority of the country but a minority in the capital there because of the languages that we have seen. So again we will come back to this accommodation, that how this it has become the federal. Before that we will have one of the case study of the Sri Lanka there. This is the Sri Lanka. It's a very beautiful picture, as we know that. Now if you see this country about the Sri Lanka, Sri Lanka officially at the Democratic Socialist Republic of Sri Lanka is an island country in the northern Indian Ocean off the southern coast of the Indian subcontinent. Try to understand where it is located. Southern coast of the Indian subcontinent in South Asia, known until 1972 as a Ceylon there. Means till 1972 the Sri Lanka has been called as the Ceylon there. Sri Lanka has maritime borders with India to the northwest and the Maldives to the southwest. So this is just the introduction of the Sri Lanka. As we seen the Belgium ethnic composition, now we are going to see the Sri Lanka there. Sri Lanka is an island nation in the Indian Ocean. We know everyone. Already we have discussed in the last class also. This just now what I have given in the explanation. Just a few kilometers of the southern coast of Tamil Nadu. Okay. Sri Lanka has a diverse population, about 2 crore people with the 74 years. See, again it has the composition of the ethnic composition, that the 74% being Sinhalese and the 18% of the are the Tamil here. If you see the ethnic communities of Sri Lanka, the Sri Lanka subgroups of Tamil, if you see here, Tamil have the two groups there. Okay, Tamil have the two groups. Tamil natives of Sri Lanka are called the Sri Lankan Tamils. Who are the Sri Lankan Tamils here? If you see with the ethnic composition there, here we can see the Sinhalese here. This is the part of the Sinhalese, yellow cover portion. Okay, Sinhalese speakers, and if you see this is the orange part that we are seeing, that the Sri Lankan Tamils. We can see this you can Sri Lankan and other people speaking, that Hindus and Muslims there. How this ethnic composition has been divided, that we are going to see now. Here the Tamil natives of Sri Lanka are called the Sri Lankan Tamils. Okay, means those who are natives of they have take the born and brought up from the Sri Lanka, they are called the Sri Lankan Tamils, and they constitute here only the 13% of the population and are concentrated in the north and east here. This is the north and east there. Okay, they are the Tamil of the Sri Lanka there. Okay, they concentrate in the north and east of the Sri Lanka. Most of the Sinhalese speaking people are Buddhist here. Means those who are having the ethnic composition of the Sinhalese, their community leads to the Buddhist there, while most of the Tamils are the Hindus or Muslims here. Okay, some of the Tamils which are there, it may be they may be belong to the Hindus, or they may be belong to the Muslims there. This is just whatever we have spoke about, it is just about the Sri Lankan Tamils we have spoke that. Once again I will revise it. The Sri Lankan Tamils natives of Sri Lanka are called the Sri Lankan Tamils, right? Here if we see, these people are called the Sinhali. Okay, Sinhali speaking, and So they constitute only the 13% of the population and are concentrated in the north and the east of the Sri Lanka there. Most of the Sinhala or Sinhali speaking people are the Buddhists there, while most of the Tamils are the Hindus or some of them are Muslims there. These are the Sri Lankan Tamils. If we see the other corner of the Indian Tamils there, why we are calling them Indian Tamils? Because they are natively born from the India and they have settled in the Sri Lanka there. Why they settled in the Sri Lanka? Because at the time of the colonial period that we have seen that some of the people, the Britishers, they want the people to work in the tea plantations that we have seen. Due to that, they have made them to take from that Indian Tamil Tamil coast, and they make to stay in the Sri Lanka there. So that's why they are called as the Indian Tamils there. So what happened there? The Tamilians, who was the forefathers, okay, whose forefathers came from India as for the plantation just now. I said that workers during the colonial rule and settled in Sri Lanka are called the Indian Tamils. Hope children, you maybe got the clarification about the Sri Lankan Tamils and the only the Indian Tamils there. They constituted only the 5% of the population there. They are about 7% are Christians who are both Tamils and the Sinhala speaking. Okay. In that also, in Indian Tamil also, there is a division of the language there. So due to this, hope again you have got the revision of the ethnic composition of the Sri Lanka. If you see in the Belgium, there is a Dutch speaking and the French speaking was there, and in the Sri Lanka we have seen more of the Tamil speaking and the Sinhala speakings. Okay, this is the ethnic composition of the both the communities there. Okay, now if we see, the next is about Sri Lanka majoritarianism. First, majoritarianism in Sri Lanka. What is the majoritarianism, children, here again? Before going to the majoritarianism in Sri Lanka, the word meaning of majoritarianism is nothing but, as we see in both the cases of the Belgium and also the case of the Sri Lanka there, we have seen how the majority languages made them the people for the minority. That means how they are doing the dominant there, that we have seen that in this two case study. So here majoritarianism is a concept which signifies a belief that the majority community should be able to rule the country in whichever way it wants. Obviously, one who has the majority, they will be having the power to lead it by disregarding the wishes and needs of the minority there. Means here they are not making the peoples fulfill their wish there, they are ignoring to the minority. Okay, that is called the majoritism. Hope you have got the clarification of the meaning majoritarianism there. Fine. Now if we see majoritarianism in Sri Lanka, when Sri Lanka became independent in 1948, the leaders of the Sinhala community established dominance over government by virtue of their majority. See, the Sinhala people were thinking that now we are in the majority, so we may dominate to the government by the majority there. Okay, in 1956, what happened there? The act was passed. Okay, try to remember, children. In 1956, the act was passed to recognize Sinhala as the only official language, thus disregarding the Tamil there. Means they want to ignore the Tamilians and Sinhalas should lead there. Okay, the act has passed in the 1956 there as an official language of the Sinhala speaking there. Now what happened there? The government followed preferential policies that favored Sinhala applicants for university position and government jobs there. So they have adopted this is the same that act was passed here. In 90s, the act was passed, Sinhali speakers were preferred by both the university position and the government jobs there. So again, a new constitution stipulated that the state, means here again the new constitution has been amended there, that shall protect and promote Buddhism there. Means here they want to promote the culture or promote the casteism as the Buddhism there. All these government measures gradually increase the feeding of alienation among Sri Lankan Tamils there. Here, uh, so just I have given this one. Now, what happened there? The government measure gradually increased the feeling of alienation. Alienation is nothing but the alienation means dominating, means ignoring the Sri Lankan Tamils there. Means only they want the they want to prove that Sinhala is the more majority, so they should dominate and they should ignore the Sri Lankan Tamils there. But they felt that none of the major political parties led by the Buddhist Sinhala leaders were sensitive to their language and culture there. So what happened here? The relation between the Sinhala and the Tamil communities became strained over time. Means the Tamilians also become the angry there. We are not getting the proper rights to any proper rights for the to do anything there. So they were becoming, they started the armed forces there, they also started some of the revolutions there, they have started to uh, fight for them. All the struggle has been started in the Sri Lanka there. So what are the struggles of the Sri Lanka that is just we are revising? The Sri Lankan Tamils launched parties and struggles for the recognition of Tamil as an official language there. Okay, as the Sinhalas were they are making the majority, they even the Tamil also they want that no Papa we are also want the identification there. So they started for the recognition and they started for the struggling of the as the Tamil of their official language. They demanded regional autonomy and equality of opportunity in securing education and jobs there. They want the both thing in the government job also, they need the equality there. But their demand was repeatedly denied with the Sinhala government. Okay, Sinhala speakers language there. So by the 1980s, what happened there? Several political organizations like LTTE, as I said in the last class, demanding an independent Tamil Elam there. Means in the year 1980, they want their separate state there. Like LTT, they demanded actually in northern and eastern parts of the Sri Lanka. Okay, the conflict between the two communities soon. What happened there? As the reasons we have seen there, these two the struggles of these two communities now it has led to a civil war there. What is the civil war here? The civil war resulted in the killing of thousands of the people of both the communities there. See, if you see the both the communities how they are started defeating with each other there. The civil war also caused as a terrible setback to the social, cultural and economic life of the country there. Many families were forced to leave the many families were forced to leave the country as the refugees, or the lots of people lost their livelihood. This is due to that in the 1980 what has been started now, they want the special state and they demanded for the special state, and this the demand has not been denied, so their demand has been denied. So due to this the conflict has been started, and due to that conflicts what they have started the to turn to a civil war there. Okay, this is about the Sri Lanka, and we have seen about the Sri Lanka and also the Belgium state. So now if we see what the Belgium accommodated now with this, now again we will go back and we will see that what the accommodation in the Belgium there. So if we see the Belgium, yes children, the accommodation in Belgium, if we see that, just I will give the revision there. The Belgium leaders took a different path by the recognizing the existence of the regional difference and cultural diversities of the country there. Between 1970 and 1993 there, what happened? The constitution of Belgium was amended 4 times. Means they have changed the constitution 4 times in between 1972 till 1993. Here the leaders are by keeping all the many conflicts what they have Dutch speaking and the French speaking peoples. Due to that, they did the arrangements which has Belgium leaders work on the out to enable everyone to living together within the same country. What the changes they have brought it here? They brought the changes of the constitution prescribes the constitution actually the if you see that the constitution prescribes that the member of the Dutch speaking and the uh, French speaking ministers shall be equal in the central government. Means they also form the constitution as a central government. Both the languages and both the ministers should be in the equal, should be equal there. Some special laws require the support of majority members from linguistic group there. Thus, no single community can make decisions unilaterally. Means if they are majority, no one unilaterally means only one-sided decision should not be taken. It should be the decision from the both the group there that has been passed. And the second one, the state governments are not subordinate to the central government here. The state government are not subordinate to the central government means what here? Means when when the powers is shared to the both the regions, that is the one is the Flemish or in the Wallonian region, they have the powers to mold the state according to their views there. Means yes, the central is not involving, as the central is the main, but still they have given the empower to the state government there. So more powers of the central government have been given to the state governments of two regions of the country. The two regions of the country, which are those, one is the Wallonian region and one is the Flemish region there. So again, what happened there? Brussels has a separate government. As we know that Brussels, capital of the Belgium, it has the separate government in which both the Dutch and the French speaking people have the equal representation there. Okay, 80-20 was there, but still they have given the equal recognition there. Apart from the central and the state government, there is a kind of third government, that is the community government they have taken. In that, it is the people, it is elected by the people belonging to one language community, Dutch, French and German speaking, no matter where they live there, whether they are living in the country or whether they are living in the capital, we can say there. Means they have given the one more government has been formed as the community government there. The government has the power regarding they can take the power regarding the cultural, educational and language related issues there. So now what happened here? Means they have accommodated, this country has been accommodated by themselves by sharing the powers to the some of the powers to the center and some of the powers to the state there. So due to that, what has become, Belgium has become the model has worked well so far, which avoid civic strife there between two major communities, and country remains united there. Due to power sharing, what happened there? The country remains the united. So Brussels were chosen as the headquarters of the European Union from the very beginning there. In the beginning only have said that is the headquarter of the Brussels there. Brussels has become the headquarters there. So hope children, now you have got the clarity between the composition of the ethnic of Belgium and also the ethnic composition on the Sri Lanka. Till now, I hope that you have been got the clarification till. Okay. Now next we are going to see about, that is the why power sharing is desirable here. Why power sharing is desirable, why we should share the power here. Now if we see the two sets of the reasons reflect the need of power sharing here. There are the two reasons. One is the prudential, that is the first reason. What is the prudential? Here the stresses that the power sharing will bring out the better outcomes here. Means if we share the power, it brings the better outcomes. Power sharing is a good because it helps to reduce the possibility of conflict between social groups, since social conflict often leads to a violence and political instability there, isn't it? And here power sharing is a good way to ensure that stability of the political order, apparently imposing the will of the majority community over the others there. So may look like an attractive option, but in the long run it undermines the unity of the nations there. So that is the prudential government is necessary there. If you see on the second reason of that is the moral, it emphasizes what, that it emphasizes that very act of power sharing is valuable there. Power sharing is the very spirit of the democracy. People have the right to be consulted on the how they are to be governed there. A legitimate government, one the where the citizen through participation can acquire the stakes in the system there. So due to the power sharing, this is very important there. Hope you have got it clear about the power sharing. Yes children. So now what we are going to see about the, now coming to the next form of the power sharing, this is also very important. Now that is the forms of power sharing then. Okay, power is shared among the different organs of the government. Yes. Now if you see, in a democracy, people are the sources of all political power there. People are the rule themselves through the institutions of the self governance, and the everyone including the minorities has the voice in shaping of the public policies there. So in democracy, political power should be distributed among as many citizens as possible. In modern democracies, power sharing arrangements can take many forms, such as one is the horizontal distribution of power. That is what is the horizontal distribution of power there. As we see now, coming to the forms of the power sharing, the first horizontal power sharing should be the three pillars. In this, the three pillars of the government we will considered of the, that is the judiciary, legislature and the executive here. As we know that legislature forms the law, executive executes it, and judiciary resolves any kind of the disputes that occur between them. Because of them, there are because these are become the three pillars of the government there. This is judiciary. This judiciary have its own checks and balances. That means if legislature or executive has some power rules that have come up, thus judiciary has power to check as it when required. Okay, so that's one of the most interesting feature that you have under the horizontal distribution of power here. Now again, with the horizontal distribution of the power, you have much more dispersal power that occurs during the emergency purposes. Okay, why the distribution of the horizontal power? If you see, power is shared among the different levels of government here. Just now I had discussed here. So that will be the legislature, executive and the judiciary. What these are, how they are working, and what leads to the system there. This arrangement means here horizontal distribution power works here. Okay, for example, the judges are appointed by the executive, but they can check the functioning of executive or laws made by the legislatures here. That is comes under the horizontal distribution of the power there. Now if we go to the next, that is the federal government, or the one and vertical divisions of power there. What they in the next the federal government, what happens here? Under the federal government, you have two forms here, a center and the state. So let's say you have an India here. So one would be the government ruling the whole of the country, and the other would be ruling divisional state here. Now these states area, what happened here, being ruled the state government, and then you have a certain decisions which are coming up under the central government. Try to understand it. So you have two forms of federal government coming together is federalism and holding together. We'll be discussing more again in the federalism, that coming together and holding together. Hope you have got the clarification of this. Next is about the power sharing among the organs of the government, that is the legislature, executive and the judiciary here. Now here power sharing with central government, state and the local self government is the example as we seen in the Belgium case. power sharing among the different social groups here, power sharing about the political parties. So here what we are going to see, just I will revise the things. uh, the third form of sharing is the community government. Again we have seen that it is a classic example. We see in the example as we in the Belgium. So what happens in that, minority groups or certain languages are given powers so as to represent themselves or have to for their stake. So let's say we provide reservation to certain communities, okay, that they can their own state. Or the last class week in the last 9th standard we have talked about that the reservation constituencies. So under reservation constituency is what happens if there is a government which is majority try to focus on improving the scenario of the electing and the representing who belongs to the communities there. So here federal government, if we see, power can be shared among the governments at different levels at the entire country, and the government has the provincial or regional level there. Such a general government for the entire country is usually called the federal government there. In India, if we refer to the central or union government, the government is the provincial of the government will the government or the at the provincial or regional level are called the different names of the different countries there. There are many countries where there are no provincial or state governments there. The countries like ours we can take, where there are different levels of government. The constitution clearly lays down the power, different levels of government and the vertical division of power there. So this is found in the federal division of power. In the same, participant extends the level of government like the municipality and the panchayat there, the self-government. Under this arrangement, we have seen about the government and administration gives space to the diverse social groups. In this way, minority communities get a fair share in power, that we have seen in the last example of the Belgium and there, how these communities have got the share in the power. If we go to the next power sharing about the in a democracy, different parties compete to come up for the power. In case party of gets the majority, then two or more parties form an alliance to the power and they become the coalition government. Yes, that also we have seen that community government, that we have seen that how the community government has shared the power different social groups such as the religious and the linguistic groups that we have seen here. Yes, and the community governments in Belgium, that is a good example that we have discussed there. In some countries where the constitutional or legal okay, where the they have the there are the constitutional and legal arrangements whereby socially weaker sections and women are represented in the legislatures and the administrations there. This method used to the minority communities as a fair share of the in the power there. As we seen in the coalition, here the coalition government plays an important role there. As we know what is the coalition government, power sharing arrangements can also be seen in the way political parties there. Means here pressure groups and movements control or influence those in power there. In a democracy, we know that the citizens must have freedom to choose among the various contenders there of different political parties for the power. This is the rule of the democracy. In a democracy, power is shared among the different political parties that represent different ideologies and social groups there. So sometimes this kind of sharing can be direct, or when two or more parties from alliance to contest elections there. If there is an alliance is elected, they form a coalition government and thus a shared power there. If we see the different social interest groups there in a democracy, we find the interest groups like the traders, businessmen, industrialists, farmers and the industrial workers also there. They also have a share in the government power through the participation in governmental committees or bringing influence on the decision making process there. So this is about the forms of the power sharing there. Now children, before ending the revision here, I have not gone through the much elaborated, but still I have covered lot of things in this revision. So in this, hope you got the clarification about this chapter. And let me tell you that after the ending of this chapter, you have to write the question answers, obviously, because it carries the internal assessment there. So here, this frequently asked questions what I have given here, just you have to write as a extra question in your classwork there. Here in the first frequently asked question, what it is given here, the ethnic composition of Belgium or Sri Lanka, means in your, for your exam it may ask the composition between the Belgium or Sri Lanka. You should write the both the ethnic compositions there. Okay, again, majoritarianism in Sri Lanka, what it is, that what does mean the majoritarianism, and also in the how the majority works in the Sri Lanka there. What do you mean by the majoritarianism? You have to write there. Here Belgium becomes the model of the accommodation. How? That you have to write the points there. In the classwork or in the PowerPoint slide also we have shared the points there. You can take that points and you can write the same as it is, but we have to, I'm not saying you to do the ratta marna hai, but you have to remember that. Again, fourth question, we can say that the why do we need to share the powers, or why power sharing is desirable. You may have the question in the both the ways there. It may come like this also, why do we need to share the powers, or why power sharing is desirable. Why it is that, with the two conflicts, what the two reasons, you can write that one. Again, one more question, what are the various forms of power sharing there, that we have discussed just now. So that forms you have to write in a proper elaboratingly points and explain it properly there. And sixth question, we can say specific form of power sharing. What are the specific, why we have to share the power in the specific region there, that also you have to write it here. So these are the questions in this lesson you may ask frequently. So please children, try to write it. If you have any problem or if you get any doubts, you may ask again in the feedback session there. Now before ending this chapter, or before saying me thank you, so we have seen that, just I'll tell the point wise, orally, as I have not prepared the slide there. We have seen what is power sharing, the meaning of power sharing, and we have seen the how the we have seen this one small recapitulation on the Belgium, how country of the Belgium is divided in according to their population, according to the ethnic composition, that we have seen. We have seen the Belgium country, their ethnic composition, and how the tensions between the French and the Dutch communities has been evolved, that also we have seen it. Yes children. Again, we have seen the case study of the Sri Lanka there, how Sri Lanka has been divided into the subgroups of Tamils there. One is the Sri Lankan Tamils and second one is about the Indian Tamils there. The what are the ethnic composition of the Sri Lanka, that also we have seen, and also we have seen where the Sri Lanka has been located, and we have seen many of the things in the Sri Lanka, how the Sinhala peoples are become the more Sinhala peoples become the more majoritarianism than speaking language, that also we have seen. We have seen about the majoritarianism in Sri Lanka, and also the struggles of Sri Lankan Tamils, how they have struggled, the Tamil peoples, how they have struggled to for their rights, that also we have seen. And what were the results of the struggles there, it leads to the civil war there. This is the first part of the power sharing that we have seen. If we have shared the power, what has happened there, and next we have, if we didn't share the power, what happens in the Sri Lanka, that we have seen that. And after sharing the power in the Belgium, that accommodation in the model of the Belgium, we have shared the powers to the central from the central government to the state government there. What achievements they have come up there, that we have seen in the Belgium country. So now we with the both the case studies, we understood that if we share the power, how the work the country become the peaceful there, harmoniously they can live there. If the power is not shared, how the civil war has been conflict to the in the Sri Lanka, that also both the cases we have seen. Okay, now the next we have seen about the, like the why we have to share the powers there, what is the need there. So to run there are two reasons, one is the prudential and the moral. And why, what are the, that is the again one question also you can have, that what is the difference between the, sorry, what is the need of power sharing there, or why the power sharing is the desirable, as I have given there. Now next is all the forms of power sharing that we know, that in the first we have seen first form is the horizontal distribution of power. Second, we have seen that the federal government and the vertical divisions of power, that how the community has been changed a level of government there. Third one is about the community government, how it has been changed according to the community basis group, that is the Belgium and the Sri Lanka, that due to that example we have seen that how the community government has been formed that well. That is the third tier of government that we seen in the Belgium there. Again, that the coalition, if the power is shared among the equally there, and the alliance to the coalition that also we have seen in a very brief way, and the how the different interests of the group that has been shared the power there. So this is just in a one quick, I have summarized this one. So hope you have got the clear the chapter here. So if you have apart from that, if you have any problems, so always open, you can ask me at any time. So children, it's one request, try to complete your classworks as soon as within a day or two. I'm going to give you the PDF of this lessons question answer also, and we will discuss as earliest about the flowcharts and the mind map, which is very useful. And these questions are very important, you have to write in your class work as the extra questions, you can say, or as the for the portfolio there, where you are carrying the marks there. Hope you have got the clarification of this revision again, and I'll say thank you, take care, stay safe, fine, take care, bye.